Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this video I'll be testing this phone right here. This is a Samsung Galaxy Mini. This phone was released back in February of 2011 and it used to cost $180. It is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon S1 and Adreno 200 graphics. It has 160 MB of storage, 384 MB of RAM, a 3.15 megapixel camera, and it has a 240 by 320 3.14 inch TFT display. Let's find out what this decade-old budget phone can still do today. Alright, first off, it was time to set this phone up. After factory resetting this phone, it launched me straight into a Spanish page about Google with no further setup. After setting everything up manually, the phone was ready for the review. I then went on to installing apps. Since software support has long ended with the latest Android version for this phone being Android 2.3.6, I had to download APKs for every app I wanted to install as the Play Store also did not work anymore. After some time I had all the apps I wanted to test installed, except for Discord and TikTok, as those apps didn't even exist at the time this version of Android was mainstream. The Spotify APK I downloaded also gave an error, so I could sadly not install Spotify. Now it's time to insert a SIM card, put the battery and back on, put in an SD card and get to testing. Starting off with trying to use some social media apps, WhatsApp would not work, giving me an error about the date being wrong, although the date was correct, and Snapchat would refuse to log me in. Browsing the web did work using some sites, and there I could find out why my WhatsApp wouldn't work, because support ended back in 2020, which is actually quite recent to my surprise. Testing out YouTube, I could not sign in with any Google account, and the YouTube app itself would refuse to work. Going to youtube.com in a web browser presented me with a message that the browser I was using was out of date, so sadly you cannot watch YouTube on this phone. Something that I could test was the speaker. The speaker in this phone is actually quite decent and it can go pretty loud. This is how the speakers sound. For connectivity, this phone has a 3.5mm jack for audio and a micro USB port for data and charging on the top. The micro USB port is even hidden under a nice little door. Then it was time to test out the microphone. The microphone in this phone is pretty bad, something that more budget Samsung phones from this era suffered from. The recording app does look quite nice. This is how the microphone sounds.
Alright, this is the microphone review of the Samsung Galaxy Mini phone. I have no idea where the microphone is situated on this phone. The voice recorder software looks pretty decent and I'm curious as to how it sounds.
Then it was time to test out the camera. This phone has just a single camera on the back. This 3.15 megapixel camera can shoot video up to 320p 15 fps. I'll be comparing the camera to the camera on my main phone, a Samsung Galaxy S21. Alright, starting off with a close-up image, of course the S21 manages to capture a lot more details. The Galaxy Mini's photo is pretty blurry and on the darker side. Moving on to a photo with a bright background, the Galaxy Mini performs better than I expected, and for a 2011 budget offering it's actually quite good. Moving on to a photo of outside scenery, the Galaxy Mini turns the sky into overcast and the colors are a bit off, but overall it's not all that bad considering this phone is 12 years old. Now let's test some video recording. This is where the Galaxy Mini shows its weakness. The video is 320p, which is very low resolution, and the low frame rate doesn't help either. Now let's test some outside photography. Making a photo of these flowers gave me the first result, which surprised me. The Galaxy Mini did very well on this photo. The picture is fairly sharp and the colors are quite good. I'm impressed. On this next photo the Galaxy Mini did a bit worse, some parts are way too bright, although once again for a 2011 budget offering it's still pretty good. Then testing video recording outside, the Galaxy Mini once again is pretty poor in this test due to the low resolution, low FPS video that it made. Then I tried connecting my earbuds to this phone, which to my surprise actually worked. My Galaxy Buds worked perfectly fine with this phone. Pretty cool. Of course, since Spotify dropped support for this version of Android long ago, I had to manually put some songs on this phone. After transferring them to the SD card and opening the music app, everything worked flawlessly. So if you just want to use this phone as an MP3 player, it's perfectly usable. Now it's time to test out some gaming on this phone. The only game I could get installed was chess, but this game was perfectly playable and pretty fun. Time to talk about the display. This 3.14 inch 240 by 320 screen is definitely not all that spectacular, but the small screen size kind of hides through the low resolution. Viewing angles could definitely be better, but are not all that bad, and overall this screen is pretty decent, especially given that it's a budget phone from 2012. The battery life is also pretty good. During testing, the 1200 mAh battery in this phone gave me more than enough battery life. Overall, this phone is pretty decent if it wasn't for the outdated software that it runs.
Alright, and with that, it's time to give my final opinion. Do I think that this phone is still usable? Well, for the most part, no, it's not usable anymore. Although the installed version of Android is still surprisingly snappy, this phone has gotten so old that I would not call it usable anymore. Of course, the basics, like calling and sending text messages, is still perfectly doable on this phone, but apart from that, any and all tasks you try to throw at this phone is just too much to ask. And if you only want a phone for those basic tasks, you're much better off buying a feature phone, as those phones also generally tend to hold a longer battery life. The camera is poor, the microphone is poor, software support is non-existent. The only thing that this phone managed to do right was music playback, although the audio output was noticeably worse than on a modern phone. So if you're still using this phone in 2023, I would highly suggest upgrading, and if you're thinking about buying one of these phones, I would not recommend it. And with that, this video comes to an end. Thanks so much for watching, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!